the absolute magic of a mastermind is you've got 6 heads together coming up with different ideas.
Amazing that you guys were able to bring a group of women together that got along like that. Yeah.
So then I was like, how does it happen? Am I giving enough? Am I doing enough?
That community built, and it was strong, and it was really powerful to watch it flourish.
You know, there is so much power, and we know that in community. Like, we know that this is the first time we've seen this fucking powerful.
Not someone to necessarily try and fix it.
Yeah.
But to say,
just listen.
That's shit.
Yeah.
And we're here to listen. We're here to support you.
You know, for people like, I don't have a village. It's like, we'll just keep searching till you find the one that fits.
It's just, it goes to show how important it is to surround yourself with the right circle of people.
Oh, for sure.
And the right, like, have, like, another person that's been a huge support to me is, you know, one of our best friends, Chantel from Talish. Like, I couldn't have got through things without her as well. Like, just
release all those little things, like Lauren was saying in her pod, to release all the small things that no longer matter, and then you can just fully immerse yourself and live into that life.
It hits so different to being able to go home and tell your husband, who's like, well, why don't you just fire them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To see the power of community for business owners was just amazing.
Surrounding yourself with women that can see you when you can't see yourself is the most important thing that you can possibly do, is give you, and you know, if you don't have it, get into groups like this.
Hey lovers, just a quick one. If you listen to us and you love us, could you please hit that subscribe button? I know it's a pain, but that little button means the world to us and our podcast, and means that we can get more great guests on, like we know you guys love listening to. So do a girl a favor, hit subscribe, and we would be so grateful.
We just wanted to say a massive thank you to our podcast sponsor, Kevin Murphy, distributed by Ozday, and thank them for being the most amazing brand partner for Salon Rising. This brand is truly incredible, and we are so excited to work alongside you.
Welcome back to the Inner Sanctum, Salon Rising, the podcast. Hey, Sam.
Hey, man.
Oh, it's a big day podcasting today.
It's a big day of podcasting today, and I think we got so lucky because the last podcast you guys obviously have heard that we have just come off retreat.
Yeah.
And it was so nice also because I feel like you and I got to experience full retreat. Like, even though we hosted the retreat, it was just because, you know, we're so close to the people that we've worked with for these 12 months. We got to just be in retreat. And so it was just like...
It was a super nurturing process for everybody.
Yeah.
We got to be the mamas.
It was a really hard weekend. I worked super hard, you know, had to really like dig deep to just work. If anybody's listening that's in my household. I worked really hard this weekend.
You did work
not
hard.
a retreat at all.
You did work hard. The thing I'm most excited about these couple of podcasts that we're recording today, which will obviously be distributed at different times, is that we're finally getting to speak in person to a couple of people that we have in the past only been able to, I mean, obviously we've spoken to these people in person, but for the pod, we've only been able to like
do online. And that's a nightmare.
I just think, there's something so powerful about getting to hear a story in person. Yep. So
I'm going to introduce it. So I'm going to introduce for the second time pod, one of my closest friends, Justine from Eve the Salon. It's the first time it's the first time I've been able to introduce Eve, even though I feel like that name was birthed so long ago.
She's been a long time in the making.
She's been a long time in the making. So
a little bit of backstory.
Does. You
When
haven't always been Eve the Salon.
I haven't always been Eve the Salon.
So the last time Juzzy came on, Justine, sorry, going to be professional.
No, we can say Juzzy.
Last time Juzzy came on, Juzzy's salon was called something different.
Yes. I was known for a very long time as Heron Harlow, and then evolved into Heron Harlow Ferry Meadow. And Eve the Salon was born about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
she finally came to light. So it's been a long time in the making and it feels really good. So, yeah, I'm love to talk to you guys as much as I can about rebranding and trying to take the fear out of it for anyone who is considering that as an option.
So,
it is
and I think also
scary.
it's a big, like, Heron Harlow was a big, well-known brand.
yeah.
So it's
For a
not
very
just
long
like,
time.
oh, here's a, I'm buying a salon and it's a small salon and I want to rebrand it in my name.
Yeah.
Josie was rebranding
Herself.
very well-known salon
Yeah.
to be her own identity again.
Yeah.
So,
I
firstly, the
think-
name.
Hang on, so if you haven't listened to Justine's first episode, like we'll have it in the show notes, pop back and listen. But just for a little bit of like behind the scenes for that one. So Justine was part of a partnership. That is where the original Heron Harlow name was birthed from. And then that partnership decided to separate, and that's where, but keep the name. And so Justine was Heron Harlow Fairy Meadow, and the other person was Heron Harlow somewhere else.
Yep.
And this rebrand has come about
So
as that journey has
the two
continued.
salons carried on. So we had, in total, I've had Heron Harlow for 10 years.
Yep.
Then the separation happened 3 years ago. So I was Heron Harlow Fairy Meadow for 3 years of that. And 3 years ago, I actually registered the business as Eve the Salon.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew eventually it would be something that I did.
I
but
remember sitting by the pool when you were here
Yeah.
with Dave, and we were sitting by the pool at the casino, and
Yeah.
you were like, "This is what the name will
This
be."
is the name.
And I remember loving it from
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
So the name comes from?
The name Eve is my middle name. And I felt like I always felt like it was a beautiful way to tie the salon to me, as I've always been Hair by Justine Eve on Instagram. I felt like it was a beautiful way to tie the name to me whilst not being
your
Hair
name.
by Justine Eve
Yes.
posted across the front of the
I
salon.
love.
Because you have to think about future. What happens if I ever did down the track want to move on from owning a salon and sell the salon? I didn't want it
that's
to
important.
be really tied in with me. And also Eve is so feminine. I mean, she was the first female. And
Yeah.
I feel like that really resonates with so much
Oh,
within
I
my
hadn't
salon.
even thought of that.
Oh,
Man,
how do you not
it's
even
different?
think of that? It hits
Oh,
differently when you hear that,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
It was not just that. It was like Eve was the first woman. And so
Yeah.
just like it just
Hear
felt
me roar.
so powerful.
And honestly, the way that it has felt since she came to light is so incredible. Like, it has been so empowering from something that was quite a hard time when it was all sort of happening and a very scary move. And it now just feels so light and fluffy and amazing. Like I said, it was a big brand name for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was mine for 10 years. And I put my blood, sweat and tears into building that brand into what it was, when it was a partnership and then when it was just solo. But I also felt like, especially when I went into Heron Harlow Fairy Meadow, I always still felt a little bit held back in a way, because it was almost like anything.
It was tying you to that time.
Yeah.
Instead
and,
of, you know.
I guess we had sort of sold the split as an evolvement of the brand. Like, a lot of people still felt like they were actually
Connected.
even
Yeah.
though they were two completely separately run businesses, had absolutely nothing financially to do with each other. Obviously, they still had the same name and they still had the two same original owners. So people obviously just assumed
thought
they
it's
were the
like a-
same.
yeah.
People thought, oh, can I use my gift voucher in either one of the salons? Or, oh, I paid a deposit in that salon, but I actually wanted to go to that salon. Like, can I just switch over? And yeah, it was complicated, but I don't know. We made it work. It was fine. But I did always feel that kind of pullback of like, whatever I do for my own personal growth will always still be tied to someone else's personal growth as well, if that makes sense.
Completely. And
Yeah.
vice versa.
And vice versa. Like,
Yeah.
I guess you never really felt like you had your whole identity. And I mean, especially the last time we spoke on the pod as well, I think I was a little lost puppy at that point.
You really were.
Yeah. I'd come from, I think Celine was maybe a year old then, maybe a little bit younger than that even. I'd really struggled to find my groove with coming back from being a stay-at-home mum for the 7 months that I had her, and then I was only in the salon 1 or 2 days a week, and I just really struggled with what I wanted to do. And I think this has given me a purpose and an identity again that I never knew I needed.
See, it's like that's
And
it's the identity piece.
Yeah.
It's the identity piece.
And all those other little questions. It's so funny that you say that. Thinking back now to what we spoke about when you came on last time, there were so many little areas of question that it seems like you're like, you know, do I still affiliate with this brand? Am I still going to want to travel with my education? It's like, since you took that and birthed your new brand, you actually really just found your place in all the places you want to be again, you know, like it was like that was holding everything back.
And I feel like even my team has felt that as well. Like, and I mean, they've some of my team has been with me through this whole thing, and you know, I feel like they needed it as well.
Yeah.
It's like they needed to break free from the old salon name, the old.
It's you taking your power into who you are,
Yeah.
and then fiercely leading that for your team as well.
Yeah.
So that they have their new identity that goes with it.
Yeah.
100%.
But it was fucking scary.
Yeah.
It was really scary. When's the right time to do it? How to do it? How to launch it? Like, and there's so many moving parts to rebranding. Although I was Eve the Salon on paper, there's so many little things that have to be taken care of to fully change over.
Yeah.
And I was in the mindset that if I'm doing it properly. Like,
Yep.
I don't want any leftover.
Justine does everything so well. Like, so
I
with
didn't
the
want any
rebrand,
leftover
everything
moving
was
parts.
done well. The socials were done well. All the behind the scenes was done well. You know, she put the time and energy and effort into having a company to help her with this. Like, it was all done so beautifully that it looked pristine when it went, rather than you can see with, you know, otherwise it's like a bit dribs and drabsy.
Yeah.
You don't know where it's up and down. Like, what is it? What's
Yeah.
going on? And especially when it's a big salon that you have to do, every I was dotted and T was crossed before it went go.
Live.
Yeah.
I didn't want dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
I really didn't want it to be like we'll just change the name and then we'll slowly kind of move things over, which, oh my God, was so stressful for my husband. The poor man had like so many moving parts to help me operate. Like, because I was doing signage, cards, and I did a little renovation on the front of the salon, and I was like, it needs to be all done by next Friday. Like, and look, to be fair, the wall wasn't
totally
done
get
straight
that.
away, but that's okay. I let him off the hook with that. We got there eventually. But yeah, the signage was done. Everything was ready to roll. I was launching on a Sunday night on socials. The only thing that went out before that was a text message to my database, because I wanted my core people to know what was happening before they just saw it burst to life on social media.
I love that.
Okay, before we
that.
talk about it bursting to life, and we can cut this out if we don't want to talk about it, can we talk about the catalyst that drove this change?
The why.
The why.
The why. The why was Eve born. Look, like I said, it was something that I think I'd always deep down knew I wanted to do.
Your FPOS
eventually.
receipts when you started at Heron Harlow,
Almost
Fairy Meadow,
a lot of
said Eve the Salon.
Yeah.
Like, it was always going to be that. You just never knew when the right time was.
I just never knew when the right time was going to be. I never knew when the right time to be was going to be to 100% walk away from the brand. You know, and I knew if I just walked away from the brand, not that I was walking away with nothing, because I was always still me and I always had that strength behind me, but I sort of felt like if there was two with the original owners and then I just changed, does that make sense? Like, it was sort of like, well, I was kind of just walking away.
Yeah, okay.
Whether I hung on for too long because I was maybe a little bit stubborn about it, I question that, but then I'm trusting the divine timing that I did it when I was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it was the right time. Like, as many of you would know, well, maybe you wouldn't, but essentially the two moving parts of Heron Harlow, one of them was sold. and I felt really uncomfortable that I now owned a brand name with somebody that I didn't know. So I guess the timing came from not necessarily the best place in some ways, but I made the best out of it.
And potentially gave you the nudge that you weren't going to
really
do.
Did.
You know what I mean?
feel like it really did give me the push that I needed to just go, now's the time.
Yeah.
And it was really scary. And it was, you know, I was also pregnant again. So
She's pregnant again.
I am pregnant again. I'm now very pregnant.
Yeah.
But rebranding when I was, you know, 5 months pregnant probably wasn't something that I would have initially thought was the best timing for it. But in saying that, now
it's the best timing for it
now.
now.
I think if I'd have waited until the baby was born, like who knows until I came out of that little deep dark hole again where you're feeling a little bit lost for the 6 to 9 months or 6 to 12 months that it takes to come out from having a new baby. I think it actually was the best time. As scary as it was to think, because I think people had always said to me, well, if you're going to rebrand, you're going to have to be the face of the brand for a good few years before you can step away again. But I guess that's just, you know, people's opinions, and then you letting that fear creep into your life and you thinking that that is the way that it's going to have to be. But I mean, there's so much strength in social media now, and there's so much strength in getting your message out that I still don't feel like I've had to come back into the salon any more than what I do. But I definitely have shown up a lot more. Like I said, I feel like it really helped me find myself again. And I wanted to redo all of our staff photos. I wanted to redo all of the branding. I wanted to redo all of our social media. So I went into it with a bang. I hired a girl to do my social media. In 10 years, I'd never had somebody help with social media at all. And I wanted that seamlessness of the rebrand to be posted on social media. I started working with a marketing company as well to help with my email drop and things like that, which I'd never had that before. So I kind of lined everything up to really go off with a bang and start this really well.
So you contacted your database and let them know what was happening.
Yeah.
Then what was your next? So you've set everything up in the background.
Yeah.
You've got everything ready to go.
Yeah.
How did you roll it out?
So the signage was up. I think that went up that week, and I was just kind of like, nobody look.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was kind of like, well, you know, signage can't go up on a Sunday afternoon. So, you know, some things have just got to happen. Website changes had started to roll over as well. So that was ready to launch, to go live as Eve the Salon. That was amazing. I kept my same website, but I just changed. When I say I, not me.
My peoples. They changed everything.
The days changed over, like the DNS records, so I could keep my same website. I just had to change over all the logos and everything like that, which was really good. But even that, like, you don't think about how tricky that will be. Like, it really changed all of my Google analytics. Like, that all spiraled, and they were all freaking out about that.
So you kept your same website.
Kept my same Google page. You could just change that.
Yeah.
But something, I mean, I don't fully understand all of this part of it, but anybody who's rebranded probably will. The whole Google, like, it sends Google nuts because Google doesn't understand what's happening on the back end necessarily. Apple Maps, God, that was another thing.
Oh, I still feel like we're 3.5 years here, and Apple Maps still has a lose and sends people to the old salon.
And a couple of my staff
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
stupid.
A couple of my staff members had said it, and I was like, who even uses Apple Maps?
Everybody.
And they were like, we all do. And I was like, I use Google Maps.
I
Use
confess,
Google Maps.
I use Apple Maps.
I use Apple Maps. I never ever use any other map but what's on my map on my phone.
Yeah.
Apple Maps was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
They were sending people to another suburb. I don't know why.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, obviously, like, there was a few little things that just you're never going to know that are a problem until the problem arises.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the rollout happened. The text message went out on the Friday to all of our clients. Heron Harlow's rebranding to Eve the Salon. And then, everything else was just socials. Social media changed. The name changed on social media. That was a big moment. That was a scary moment, like changing your Instagram name. Because once you change it, that's it. Like, you can't keep changing your name all the time on socials. So
It's like 30 days or something. You've
Yeah.
got to wait or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually one thing that screwed me up a little bit because 3 years ago I saved the Instagram name Eve the Salon with an underscore at the end. And then it was only as the time was approaching closer that I realized I wasn't actually going to be able to use that
Yeah.
page.
Because you'd already created it
Because
as
I'd
another
already created it. And when you
page.
delete that page, it's 30 days until the name becomes available again. But the rebrand was happening in like 6 days. So I just had to like keep going through and seeing what was available. And then Eve underscore the salon was available, but I couldn't save it. So every day I was just checking, is Eve the salon still available?
Oh my gosh.
And the people like that wanted to do my business cards, I was like they were wanting their proof. And I'm like, okay, I'm committing, whatever. If I get 5,000 business cards that end up having to go in the bin, will be what it will be. But it was actually okay. But yeah, they were like the little moving parts that you weren't expecting to be as fiddly as they were. Like getting your proof done on your bloody business cards with the Instagram name that I couldn't save, that I was changing on Sunday, but it worked. And Eve underscore the salon I just love it.
I love it.
Oh, it's perfect.
And I really feel like, as you said in that last episode, Joz was so lost to where she was. You know, she wasn't back in the salon yet. She was trying to find her feet with motherhood and business, and you've flourished.
Yeah, I feel
since
like
that
I've really
episode.
found like
Yeah.
a really good balance between being a mum and being a business owner and a hairdresser and, you know,
And
all the hats
being
that we put on
yourself.
and being myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the same person that I was before I had a baby. Nobody is, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm so fine with that.
Yeah.
You're
Like,
even better, babe.
Yeah.
You're even better.
Like I never felt like I went necessarily through the grief of losing my old self because, I mean, Celine's just been the light of my life. Like I'm
Yeah.
just obsessed with her. And I think as well the fear. I mean, last episode I spoke about how I didn't expect to not want to know what to do with my career after I had a baby.
Yeah.
So that sort of like threw me so much. And I think that was another reason that made me feel so lost because I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that. Like
Yeah.
I've always just been Justine, the hairdresser.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so then finding the balance with that. Whereas I feel like this time I'm like, it's okay if I do lose that side of myself again because I know it will come back.
Yeah.
So it's not as scary anymore. Like
Yeah.
even if I do step away from the salon and wonder again what I want to do, it's like I know it will come back eventually. Like because I
Yeah.
know this is still so much a part of who I am to my core.
And you've sort of taken a slightly different approach to things. Like you stepped away, you felt a bit lost. And then you're like, I feel like, you know, when we spoke last, you were talking about wanting to venture down that hair extensions route, and you've really now gone down that road. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I might do that. I
Yeah.
will.
I've had such an amazing time with my hair extension journey. Like I love hair extensions so much, but I've also been welcomed into such a beautiful community with it. Like Yvonka, who has just taken me under her wing completely with, you know, extensions. And she's just such a beautiful, beautiful person that wishes everyone so much success. And if it wasn't for her, there's no way I would I wouldn't be where I am with hair extensions and I wouldn't have that same passion for it because her passion is so infectious. And like recently I went on tour with them. I did Brisbane and Melbourne. I did the Row Show. There was 2 girls from America that were absolutely incredible. And, you know, it just being away, like obviously it's hard being away from your family on times like that, but you do get to feel that rush of the old you a little bit as well. And yeah, I've really, really opened up into hair extensions now. And I definitely feel like that will be the part of my career that continues to flourish and grow. And that's going to be my drive and my passion moving forward again.
I love it.
Yeah.
So how far are we off having babies? 6 weeks, aren't we?
6 weeks.
Wow.
Crazy. So
6 weeks, moving house.
yeah, in the next 6 weeks, I have to move house, set up another baby's room, which is not done at all, but we all know now, second time around, you're like, yeah, just need a bassinet.
Yeah.
And nappies.
Bassinet and boobs, we're good.
Yep.
Yep.
Packet of nappies and we're good to go.
Yeah, good to go.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like this time my last pregnancy, everything
Done,
was set
ready,
up ready.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was having, but everything was ready. The cot was ready that you don't use for bloody 6 months and But this time you're just like, yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the move because I'm not someone who likes to sit still and just go, oh, yeah, I'll unpack that box when I get to it. Like,
I want it done.
Yes, I want my house. Like, I'm a very home person. I love my house.
When you get home from holiday, do you unpack your bag straight away?
Like, seconds
Yeah,
within
same.
the door.
Yeah.
Serial killer. Yep, everything. Like, I have to have
Like
my suitcase
everything
packed away.
completely away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Washing's done. Are you like that?
No, it depends what day the nanny's coming.
I love you, Nessie. I'm very much like, I'm very organized with what my stuff looks like. Like I'm always packed on the side going home. Like I'm very detailed and my washing goes straight away, but then my bag will normally sit there until Ness unpacks it for me.
Yeah. Well, didn't you say you've had her since you were like 20 years old?
I literally was 20 years old. I don't know how to function without her.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
She's like pretty much just my whole identity at this point. Like the only reason I can do anything. Everyone goes, how do you manage it? I'm like, I have Ness. And she manages it all for me.
my shit for me.
Yeah.
We all need one of those.
Everyone
Yeah.
needs an S.
But yes, I do like to unpack as soon as I get home. And then it's actually like, who was I saying to you about this weekend? I love coming away and doing things like this, but it's so hard when I'm not home on a Monday because Monday's like
The day.
my
Reset
day.
day.
Like I'm a hairdresser. I've always had Mondays off.
Yeah.
Monday's like my groceries day but I just sat and did my groceries while you were doing
Good
it. Potty with
girl.
Loz.
Oh, I love
How
So-
do parents do it before click and
Online.
collect?
Oh my God. No. Deliver it. No
Yeah.
click and collect here. Just deliver it to my door and Ness will unpack it.
Modern mums. I
She's
mean,
honest.
how many times in our career life have we said work smarter, not harder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So we have
We
just
advocate for outsourcing.
spent the weekend away. Obviously
Yeah.
we just had retreat. Do you want to talk on that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd love to because we've just come off. Like we literally
Yeah.
finished breakfast
And
all
drove
together,
here.
came here. So I'd love to know where you're at with it, how you were feeling, because obviously I will talk to everyone in Voxer in about 5 minutes. But do you want to just give everyone a bit of a rundown on what that looked like for you?
What a
as
weekend.
even in the mastermind for you for what this year's looks
Yeah.
like, because as
I
you
really
said, she's very come
resonated-
back to herself.
Yeah.
And I really resonated with Lauren's had like what a year but
Yeah.
I really resonated with what she said at breakfast this morning when she's like, when Mastermind kind of first kicked off, I feel like it was probably a little bit hard for
Felt
all of us to
overwhelming.
quite grasp onto it. And, you know, it was a group of people that we'd never met before. I mean, I'd met Lauren and obviously you guys, but I hadn't met the other girls in the group and I'd done one-on-one coaching with you. I hadn't done the group coaching before. But I feel like as the year went on and we all started to
It was
really-
also my first. So I
Yeah.
like it was the first time I'd been a part of a mastermind, but I'd never run one
You'd never
myself.
run one. Yeah.
So then I was like, how does it happen? Am I giving enough? Am I doing enough? And just like watching the magic of this week,
Yeah.
watching the magic of the entire year play out.
And
like
then by the time it's gotten
support,
to
oof.
retreat, it's like we all knew each other. Like
Absolutely.
literally walking into that room, it was just like, oh my God, like, hi. Like, I think even when I hugged Megan goodbye today, I was like, it was nice to see you. Like, I didn't even say it was like nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Even though it was actually the first time I'd met her in person.
Yeah.
It was like, just felt like we'd all known each other for so long.
Yeah. I think that's why retreat felt so
It
at
was
ease.
such
Yeah.
a special
We
time.
were just with, like, there was just, you know, that ultimate girls weekend when you go away where you just like, there is so much vulnerability and love and just joy. And everyone was very vulnerable and I was very vulnerable as well. So like, it's just a time where you're like, I'll never forget these conversations and these moments and just the specialness. Like if all of us currently are wearing these
Oh, yeah, our bracelets.
incredible crystal bracelets that have all this meaning that Megan made for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's just like, even when Loz was sitting there and I was looking down at yours and like the fact that we all have this piece of this
and we all
like
kept it on.
huge
Yeah.
road of the last 12 months together personally and professionally.
Yeah.
It's
But
been
what a
massive.
way, like how, and this is like amazing that you guys were able to bring a group of women together that got along like that. It's like you knew who to like pick out and inviting to the group that you knew was
It
going
was
to
exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
It was
very
an invitation
specific.
process. Yeah.
Because
like what we did even yesterday with Margot, that wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea.
Yes.
But we were all like, oh my God. Like she's everyone's new hero.
Yeah,
like
everyone's new
everyone's
hero.
like, oh my God, we're contacting her. We're getting her to. So Lauren was out. I guess she did a meditation, spiritual kind of guidance with us yesterday. And yeah, we were all just so in awe of her.
So the weekend, so we got an apartment, a penthouse down in Kingscliff. I was like, we need water energy. We need beach energy. We're on the coast. And we just started very like chill and relaxed, and, you know, everybody came in and we had a platter and we were just talking, and then we ended up going to dinner, which was so nice. Just nice circuit breaker, get out. We went to this beautiful restaurant, had dinner. And then we were up till like midnight. None of us wanted to go to bed, and finally Lauren's like, I'm going to bed. And we were like, thank you, Lauren. We all need to do
you
the
said,
same.
let's go to bed in 15 minutes.
And then 15
an
minutes
hour
later,
later.
and then 15 minutes later.
I couldn't
and then
help
15
it. Like,
minutes
it was
later.
an
just
hour
so
later, we
good.
finally went to bed.
And we all had matching pajamas, and it just felt really like wholesome, and like, you know, and Jen and I's whole purpose for that weekend, and which I knew from the beginning, was just complete nurture. Like,
To
I
look after
knew
people.
my people needed
Yeah.
nurture. I knew I know how full on it is being a mum and a business owner and a partner and a friend. And I was just like, I want them to not think about a thing, and I want to make all the decisions, and I want them just to be puddles and just to be themselves for an entire weekend. That's it. Just Justine, just Lauren, just Megan, just Carol, like just
That's
100%
so what it felt
themselves,
like.
which is, that was our main like,
I've already like VM'd my girlfriends group, and they're like, how's your weekend? And I'm like, oh my God, it's literally been the best. I was like, it's been the perfect balance between business and self-care.
Yeah.
Like I said, we did Pilates, we've done a meditation session, we've done our figures, we've all sat and talked shop.
yeah.
Like,
And it was so funny as we went through it. So we started with like the morning, like I said to the girls, this is your pick your own adventure. You can do whatever or
As much or
whatever.
as
So
little.
we did a beach walk in the morning with a couple of us, got coffees, brought it back, and we did a Pilates session, which was so nice to start our bodies with movement. And then we did like
On a rooftop, listening to the ocean.
Listening to the ocean, yeah. Then we did like acai bowls for breakfast. I'm also like, my love language is to take care of people, to cook for people. So even for me, being able to like cook and no one have to think about what they had to do. Like, for example, you were like, I was just doing the Woolies order. Like, I didn't want any of that thought. I wanted all to be taken for you. So then...
Not even have to think about picking up your bowl.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I just felt like there was like little fairies everywhere. Like, are you finished with that? Would you like more? Like, you guys just took care of us so
But
so
even for me
well.
on the other side, none of that felt hard. Like, it just felt so easy.
Yeah.
So then, and it wasn't conscious. It was just me taking care.
Yeah.
Like, that was just not conscious. And then we went into a working session, and we were just like, it was just explosive in this working session of what we had
we couldn't
designed.
like our brains couldn't keep up with what was happening. We were just like ping, 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 ping. Like,
and then everybody, I think at
And
that
you kept
point,
saying
And
so that
that's
started it.
testament too, because there was a genuine buzz and excitement around the working session.
Yeah.
And I think that says so much.
We planned to do
know?
it for 2 hours. We planned to do from 10 till 12.
and you kept saying
We went
like,
to 4, didn't we?
We went from 10 to literally the minute I remember I yelled at everyone like, get off your computers. This is done now.
Yeah.
We can come back to it. But I was like, I knew no one was coming back to it. But we had 4 full
After Margot.
after Margot. We had 4 full solid hours just
but
dedicated
it was
to
supposed
just
to be 2 hours of work and then 2 hours that we were able to go
free
off.
time. Yeah, none of us, everyone
and we
was
were
just
all
like,
like, no, let's keep going.
let's keep going. And there was like, we could have been there for days, like, and just kept, because this is
Absolutely.
the absolute magic of a mastermind is you've got 6 heads together coming up with different ideas, creating different things. And then we have Rich that can develop things for us in this like incredible like brain that is completely different to ours, that he
was our troubleshooter.
He can make spreadsheets and develop things. And then we're all like, Lauren's like, I did this, and everyone's like, I love that, I'm going to do that. Oh, what'd you get for that? Oh my God, I love that. Let's come back to that. I had to like keep going, we need to come back to this. But we could have gone for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Like, we could have just kept going. And I think it was so magical that needs to be more of that in person, because we do it on the phone, but just being there and being with each other and doing that in person was just so
And it was
fucking
funny
cool.
actually, because like I said, I had last weekend off, and then the 2 weeks before that I was in Brisbane and Melbourne. And like obviously all my close friends and family at home were like, you can't go
away,
again.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're having a baby in 6 weeks. Like I'm still working as well. So I'm going straight back into the salon tomorrow. They're like, you need to slow down.
Rest.
And I was like, I can't miss the retreat.
Yeah. You're like, this is where I'm going to be actually
Of course, I
loved
would
and
rather
taken care of.
just be snoozing at home, getting my cat naps in. But I was like, I
We
can't
made
miss
sure
the
we
retreat.
had a little bit of catnap time.
Yeah, well, you did. Margot definitely made me fall asleep.
So then after the working session, so we did lunch, and after the working session we did, so I have this, a client / girlfriend of mine, when I was going through the thick of things, she left the salon one day. I didn't even do her hair, and she sent me and she was like, you have to go to this. I booked it. Just go. And it was like, her name was Margot. And I've spoken to her about her on the pod before. I think we need to get Margot on the pod.
Oh, that'd be so interesting.
Yeah. So, I went not knowing what it was. This was like post-Mark, pre-Lee. I met up with Lee that night that I went into her, and I had a kahuna massage, which is like this, like it's completely vulnerable. You're nude, and in the beginning we walked in, she was like, now tell me what's happening. And I was just like, oh no, the first time I ever went to her was pre that. And I was single and I was going through the mess. That was the second time I went to her, and I just was a mess, and I was just sobbing, and I needed to be held by somebody.
Yeah.
But nobody that knew me, because I just am not like that normally. Like I went in and told her what's happening, and she just heard it, and she just like gave me, thought processes to go through and stuff. And I remember having that massage and just feeling so held and loved and taken care of, that I was like, this has changed. And I remember messaging my friend and was like, you've just changed she's actually an angel, just straight sent from heaven.
Yeah.
She's just exactly what I needed. So the next time I had the massage, which was a few weeks later, was the night I was going to meet Lee, and she's like, your energy is completely different, because it was just, I'd finally stepped back into my body. Like she'd helped me so much. So I had another nudie massage, the best. And then only a few weeks ago, I was having a moment, and she had an appointment free, and one of my best friends had booked me a session, because she was like, I want to get you something, and she knew I loved it, so she booked it for me. And I went to this session, and again, just so much healing that I needed at that point. And when I was there, I was like, I need you for my retreat. Like you need, and she'd never done anything like this before. And I was like, I have to have you at my retreat.
And she did so well.
Oh
she
my
did
gosh,
so well
I
in like a
definitely
group
thought
of
that she was-
people
it was
amazing.
to facilitate
So well experienced.
different facets, working in through those mindset and belief systems, and then the physical aspect of the hypnotherapy. Like, to think that it's the first time she's been guiding
that.
a group like that is
And
phenomenal.
it was funny, because in the beginning she was like, all right, we're going to break off into like groups. We could do it together, but it's going to be
It's
pretty
gonna be
vulnerable. And we were like,
we're
oh,
going to
mate,
do it together.
the vulnerable Band-Aids
Should we just all take our clothes off?
Yeah. It's so incredibly vulnerable right now. You're good. Like, open the wounds in front of each other. And
But
so
that probably
was really
did help. Like, I guess
Yeah.
the closeness of the way that our group was probably
Yes.
did help her
Yes.
come into a group for the first time and really just be able to do what she does.
Yes.
And be her best.
Yeah.
But even in
you know,
that, like
host.
she got us to write down some of these rules that we've set for ourselves. And even when we were talking through them, I was like, they were all very similar.
Very
What I
similar.
had written down to what you, like to what I'm like, I've got that. That's what I put down. And then someone would be like, I've got that. So even as we were talking through as a group, it was so like strongly resonating what that looked like. And then we laid down for the meditation. I think we all just went to sleep. Like, it was the most incredible meditation.
I don't know what happened.
We were
And then
like,
it
we
was
fell
so
asleep
funny.
before we met our inner children. What
We
did
all
they look
woke up.
like?
I was like,
Everyone's talking about going to the gate. I don't remember a gate.
I was just asleep at that point, and Josie's like, same, but I'm really hoping my subconscious just picked up on it and did what it needed to do. And it was like, she was like, at the sound of 5, I'm going to click my fingers and everyone's going to be back, right? So we all sat up, and Jen and Lauren are out to it. They're like so asleep. Jen was behind me and Lauren was in front of me.
She said that?
Yeah.
Did she really?
She said you even had a slight like mouth tilt open.
Yeah, you were like, no. She goes, I'm going to count to 5. And she's like, and when I say 5, everyone will be wide awake. By this point, I'd already woken up.
I'd woken up too.
Yeah. So, but then I looked up and like stretched around. Lauren's like dead, like a doorknob. And I look over at you and you're like this. And I was like, Jen and Lauren didn't get the memo. And that's when I started laughing. And then I looked at Lauren and Lauren just came to and she was like, whoa, what was that? And then I turn around and look at Jen and she's just like looking at me like, imagine when the deers cross the road and they're like headlights. Jen was like no idea what had just happened, what she just transversed in that time. It was, and then we all just fucking lost it.
And then Lauren's like, how long have you fuckers been awake for?
Yeah, what is happening? Jen's like, what's going on? It was so good. So even through that, like, it was so nice. But we were really focused. Like, Jen and I speak a lot on love languages.
Yeah.
So we were really focused on making sure that everybody's, like, we were able to
touch on all aspects.
Yeah,
so that everyone felt that.
But then,
connection.
after that, so we cooked the most amazing dinner and then ate that. And then after that, we were like, it's spa time. So we all went to the spa and sat and drank and just hung out again. And
we needed to recover from the Pilates session.
There was, there was just so many moments of, I guess you've already said it, vulnerability. Like there was so many raw moments, like, you know, seeing these women we shared so much.
Yeah.
About stuff that we don't even normally talk about, like our children and our struggles in our families and relationships, and so much came out.
But it was funny the entire time on the weekend. It was so interesting how we kept referring to something that somebody had said in the mastermind group over the year and how that had helped.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'd said to like Megan, I remember Megan getting in one day and she was talking about how lucky we are to do what we do, to how much she loves her clients. And it was this moment, aha moment for me, even this week with being back in La Sorella. Like, and I was like, I can't tell you how much I needed that. And I didn't need that when she said that a couple of months ago. Yeah. I needed that.
It's that
this
recollection
week,
of that.
And it was just such a pinnacle moment for me to remember that. And it was the same with all of us. Everyone had said stuff over the 12 months that may not have been in that moment, but as the year had gotten on, it's like that's what got me through. That's what, when I realized and I resonated with that, that's how I was able to show up. But you know, a group of women that all have so much knowledge to share. It wasn't all my knowledge. It was theirs as well. So someone, you know, if I didn't have the answer or the knowledge or the best advice, you know, you had all these other women that could give you the different advice that was super helpful as well. And it's, you know, there is so much power and we know that in community. Like we know that this is the first time we've seen this fucking powerful.
I mean, I think it was really nice to watch because as we've spoken about, like I sit in the background of a lot of our Voxer things, that just making sure that things are working and running and the evolution, as both you, Juz, and Lauren said, in the beginning it was like, oh, I'm sorry, like I'm getting it, but it just took that one conversation where someone was just like, oh, shit, like this is just and that community built and it was strong and it was really powerful to watch it flourish.
I remember you even saying to me one day, I think when I was going through the thick of the rebrand and something had gone down, and a couple of weeks prior to that, I'd been really silent in the group because I'd been going through, I think, just something else with the business. And I think I maybe even came to you separately and you were like, dude, you have to get in the chat about it. And I was like, oh, I feel like I haven't been in enough. Like I haven't commented on other people's stuff enough to just come in and just dump my shit. And then you were like, no.
So mad at you. I was like, no.
And then again, I went, like I was obviously having a bit of a sticky moment. And I just went into the group and just dumped it all. And the first thing you said to me was, I'm so proud of you for coming straight to us with this.
Yeah.
Because it did help so much. Like having you guys as that backbone when, you know, there were those hard moments in the rebrand and the questions and the not knowing what to do. Like, I don't even think I would have gotten through the rebrand, but not the same way without that group of women behind me.
And the girls said a lot of the time too, the one thing that felt really powerful this weekend was hearing you guys, full body chills, was hearing you guys say at moments,
I couldn't have got through.
I couldn't have got through this year. But the other thing was for me is this is where I come for this space and no longer do I need to go anywhere else for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that was really powerful for me because a lot of the girls were like, the person I would take it to is my husband.
Yeah.
And then that's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that is such a fucking important relationship.
Yeah.
That's not where you need to be able to dump into a different area that's not your marriage or your relationship.
Absolutely.
And men
Don't
have
understand.
such a different take on things than women. And sometimes it's really good. Like sometimes my husband is like really makes me think clearly because of his such masculine energy. But sometimes you need that softness.
Yeah.
And that like not someone to necessarily try and fix it.
Yeah.
But to say,
Just listen.
that's shit.
Yeah.
And we're here to listen. We're here to support you. It hits so different to being able to go home and tell your husband who's like, well, why don't you just fire them? You know what I mean?
And that's what everyone said. I no longer take any of this into my relationship anymore. It all just comes here. And you know, even just that, like Carolyn said, like, I'd have a moment where she's like, I just get on Voxer and have to voice it all, and then I'd walk back in the salon and I
would
was
feel
happy as.
better.
She's like, no one has even listened to
No
it.
one's even listened yet, and I feel so much better.
Yeah.
She's like, I've just kind of dumped all my shit that I was feeling
And
that
it's
day
also the
into
working
group.
space in your head of as you speak it out, you're like, hold on, yep, I can see that, yep. And she even watching her flourish this year and Megan, it was amazing because she was just able to even like just getting it off, and as you're speaking it out, you're like, I can see that. Okay, cool, I know what to make. Like, so a lot of the times by the end, a lot of everyone, and then it was just support on the other side. Like, you have made, this is the right decision. But yeah, more than anything, like I remember that day where you're like, I can't show up. I haven't supported anyone else. It's like, this is not what this group's for, and this is not what anybody expects.
But that was such a pivotal moment in the group in a general for me.
Yes.
Like, just being able to really realize that you can just go in there and it's okay. It's like your best
and
friend's
everybody
group chat.
understands.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it is like.
Which is like, that's what my girlfriend group chat is like. You get in when you can get in.
Yep.
You pick up where you left off.
Yep.
Sometimes you're not in there for a week. Sometimes you're in there every day.
Yep.
And that's how it really feels.
Yep.
So again, to meet all of the women in person and being able to spend such a special, like we didn't even leave that place. I think Lauren and I especially, because we are obviously bloody a bit sleep deprived at the moment.
Yeah.
And we just kept sleeping in. We'd get home, we'd get up and everybody had been out for their beach walk in the morning, and Lauren and I were like, what? What just happened?
But that depends. Like even this morning,
So
the only
Lauren and
person
I
that got up for a beach walk this morning was Carolyn. Everyone else was asleep. Like I got up and she goes, are you coming? And I'm like, no. I stayed up till 2 a.m. talking to Jen. I'm fucking tired.
But like we didn't even leave the apartment.
No.
For 2 days.
We could have just stayed in those pajamas full time. We should all be in them right now. We just stay in those pajamas and live our best life. I
considered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even for me, like I planned to take all this content. Thank fuck Lauren was on it because she just took the great content. But we were just so immersed in each other.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
Terrible with
it
my
was
phone
really
this
hard.
weekend.
Yeah. No.
But it's great.
If you're terrible with your phone, you're in your life.
Yeah.
If you're terrible with your phone.
I barely even spoke to my husband or Celine.
If
like,
you're
I was like,
terrible in your phone, you are the most present. Like, so my goal in life is to be terrible on my phone.
To be
because
present.
it means I'm highly present in my life.
Exactly.
And, you know, we all sat down, we put strong business goals into place, but we also put some strong personal goals into place as well. So, you know, actually now being able to sink our feet into that, and what does that look like? What are you going to, and I'll get into the Voxer later today and be like, all right, what do we actually commit to?
But what a way for me to go into maternity leave
Yeah.
second time around.
So nice.
Like I've got
isn't
2
it?
weeks left of work. I've just done, like that was one of the things we had to do this weekend was go around in a circle and say the thing that we were most proud of this year. And obviously for me it was the rebrand and really coming into myself and finding myself again as a business owner and a salon leader. And then now I get to go into my maternity leave after such a powerful weekend. Like, I just feel like I can be such a good leader for my team.
It's been an entire year of rebirth for you.
It really has.
Like in every way.
And then we're about to birth another one.
Yeah.
And then we're going to birth another one.
Yes. Auntie loves you.
But yeah, it's just, it goes to show how important it is to surround yourself with the right circle of people.
Oh, for sure.
And the right, like, have like another person that's been a huge support to me as, you know, one of our best friends, Chantel from Talish. Like, I couldn't have got through things without her as well. Like, just having that person who
Find your people.
Yeah.
Have your community.
We had a baby at the same time, so that's been so nice to kind of go through that together as well. And then she's just such a smart business owner. It's just incredible, like, to be able to have that lifeline support from her and you and, you know, the team in the mastermind.
Yeah. It's just,
I'm a lucky gal.
You can't do, like, you're not meant to do this life on your own.
You're
meant to
not.
do this life part of villages. And you just, you know, for people like, I don't have a village, it's like, well, just keep searching till you find the one that fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it was really nice this morning. Everyone did say that. Like, I didn't know what the beginning of this was going to look like. Lauren, so we were talking about it all, losing ourselves laughing this morning. Lauren was listening to the first mastermind call we had
In labour.
while giving birth.
She was in labour.
She was in labour. She was
Yeah.
like, I was getting induced. So she's like, hey,
She's
guys.
like, the contractions weren't that bad at that time.
She showed up to our Voxer. She's like, hey, guys, I'm in labour. I'm being induced. The contractions aren't that bad. So I've got about 10 minutes to go on the mastermind call before she was like pushing out Tully. So it's what, you know. So
Third baby things.
Yeah.
Like, get this baby out and well, not that she intended to get back to work.
In
quite
saying that,
quickly,
our
but-
mastermind,
I've just got a mastermind.
our next mastermind is in a month if this one comes early.
Yeah, that's true.
Justine's like, join me for my labour. But it feels really great to do, you know, there was so many tears this weekend,
Yeah.
but so much, like,
There was a lot of joy
so
and a lot of
much-
laughter as well.
the tears were though.
The tears were the good,
deep,
like,
yeah.
the deep moments of like release and gratitude and
I feel
sharing
like I've
and
known
vulnerability.
Caroline forever.
Yeah.
She just has such an aura about her, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everyone does, but she's a very special human.
Yeah.
I think it's also like a group that wouldn't have come together any other way. And I think that's really
No.
special as well.
Yeah,
like this is a group
agreed.
of people that
We're
have
so-
become so important to each other that you genuinely wouldn't have found each other.
And
Yeah.
because
You
we
know
all
what I
have
mean?
such different types of salons. Like Megan's
Yes.
only just like she's by herself with one staff.
Yeah.
The
And building.
apprentice,
Yeah.
and another one starting in February. And then, you know, there's people with big teams. Is like it's such
Yeah.
an array of people
Different
that you wouldn't
locations,
have. Yeah.
different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny because when I think about it, like, and you said it was like it was all handpicked. It was.
Yeah.
Like we were I was very specific with what that looked like because it was so important that you all could feel vulnerable with each
Yeah.
other. So I had worked or been alongside you guys in different areas before I put that together. Like I said to Richard, no one can just come into this group. I have to have, so it was only put out to like
People that you'd
people
worked
that
with.
I've worked with before. And then Carolyn was my sister's hairdresser before I was a hairdresser. So we just started connecting and I was like, even though I hadn't worked with her, I was like, Rich, she has to be invited into this group.
Yeah.
I just know that this is what she needs more than anything else I could give her. She needs her people.
And her
she
growth
needs
has
to
been
understand.
incredible
Her
this year.
growth has
Oh,
been
for
insane.
sure.
Yeah.
Like
Seeing her fully in her body at the moment, like we went for that beach walk yesterday morning and she's just like, I'm bored. Like sometimes I'm bored and I'm like, okay. And she's like, so now I'm thinking, I'm like, nope, just be bored.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm going to
wrong
open
with
nope,
us?
you know, like because, and it's such a joy to watch her like that and to just release all those little things like Lauren was saying in her pod, to release all the small things that no longer matter and then you can just fully immerse yourself and live into that life rather than feeling like it is just, you know, constant hitting up against a brick wall. You just let your barriers down and things seem to run so
Yeah.
much nicer.
it was just a powerhouse weekend.
It was a powerhouse weekend.
Such strong women in one room, just bouncing off each other's energy.
Yeah, that energy
I know.
was
we
palpable.
could bottle it.
Yeah.
Rich would like that. Wouldn't you like that, Rich?
Yep.
Bottling
Put it in
that
the Thrive
energy.
cart.
Yeah, yeah. So how are you feeling to finish up?
Yep.
How are you feeling about, like, you've found yourself more than ever since that last pod.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into the last moments of this pregnancy and after and beyond?
I do feel like it will be. I feel like it will be different this time, as I don't feel like I will probably lose my. I mean, I may, but again, I'm okay with that because I know I will find that.
Yeah.
That, like, it's like when you know, like I think I said to you over the weekend, like I've also accepted my body a lot more with this pregnancy because you're like, I know this baby will come out and I'll get back to my walks and I'll get back to my fitness properly. And
the first time around you don't. When we were saying that about,
you're so
we were saying that
It's
about
a fear. It's a fear of the unknown.
We were talking about that with my sister-in-law and how, like, the first pregnancy she was like terrified and her body was always covered up and she was so unsure. And then this next pregnancy, she was just like wanting to be nude the whole time because she's like, whoa, my body is so powerful and fierce and it can, like, I know what it's capable of and now I'm just going to be in all of its magnificent.
And like my team at the moment is absolutely incredible. Like I've also had a really big journey with my team over the last 12 months. I've completely restructured parts of my business. I don't have any apprentices anymore. I've introduced freelancers into the salon. And I feel really content.
Freelancers in a different way too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, not rent-a-chair stylists.
Not rent-a-chair. I've got and I also always thought it was going to be really difficult to have a mixed team. Like I still have staff and then I also have commission-based freelancers working in there, and it's working really well. And I'm so much. I've got such a good connection with my team at the moment that I feel like I'll stay that way.
Yeah.
Even when I'm off.
Yeah.
Like I've had really good teams in the past before, but I did have a really hard 12 months with team. I feel like a lot of salon owners have gone through the same thing in this. There's been a huge shift in staff changes, and like before I had my freelancers start, I had one full-time senior, one part-time senior, one I still was employed, but she was going to Europe for 7 weeks. Like I had one full-time senior at one point this year. I was like, the fuck am I going to do?
I remember you being in that though and
Justine's
being like,
salon is not a small salon.
I remember being
we were doing cartwheels in there. It was like crickets.
I remember.
I mean, fortunately, I obviously can step back in, but that was really hard on home life. Like I was tag teaming with Dave.
And that's when you went silent in the group and it wasn't, and then all of a sudden you came back in, you're like, guys.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it all was.
And then, you know, again, like even looking back at that and being like, you go, how the hell did I get through that moment? And then you get through that moment and you're just flying again.
Yeah.
But even just being able to get in and go, this is what I'm thinking, this is where my head's at. Someone else being like, I've been thinking that, or I'm doing this, or, okay, have you thought about this, or have you discovered that? And even for me watching Jen this weekend,
Oh yeah.
I just was like watching. I feel like you've learned so much.
Privileged to have spent the weekend in the presence of everybody that was there. I feel lucky all the time to get to be on a business journey with you. I feel so lucky that my best friend is so fucking smart. But that, I just absorbed so much from so many people. It was really powerful. And it was powerful because I felt connected to everybody because I do sit, and sometimes I can't. Sometimes I'm like, you need to message Justine right now and tell her that this is not okay.
You tell her. I was like, you're getting a creep. You're in it. You're listening. You tell Justine yourself.
Yeah.
that was so funny.
But
When you guys were VMing me.
I know.
Oh, I know. But I just think that, to see the power of community for business owners was just amazing.
And like also being so, like I feel like Lauren in particular has gone through so much this year, but you know, getting to points in business where you hit your peaks and you hit your troughs, like.
Oh,
yeah.
And anyone that's following along, like I'm a business mentor and my God, Am
Yeah.
I living a
But
journey?
how many times do you go through your lull moments and they're really shit and they're really hard at the time? Like
Yeah.
when I got to the point this year where I had one full-time senior, and because a girl had left the same week that another senior, I had a small team, and then I had one girl resign and one girl was going to Europe the following week, which had obviously been planned, but it left me with one full-time senior. And then it pulled me back into the business again on the floor more. Like I was tag teaming with Dave, so that was challenging. But, come 6 weeks after that, I just remember sitting down with my team and saying that was the best thing that's happened. That is the best thing that could have happened.
It always is, but knowing that at the time is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
But I felt like so close and connected to my team after we went through that together.
Yeah.
And trying to juggle these appointments and find our groove with having bloody two of us. And I had Hayley, she was part-time, but she didn't work nights or anything. So I didn't want my full-time there on her own. And that's where the juggle kind of came in. But Brittany had actually she was the full-time senior that I had left over. And it was incredible to watch. She, really came out of her shell and shone. Like she was my newest senior. So we hadn't had years of working together. So it really bonded her and I in a way. So yeah, it was incredible. It's been a year. So I feel like I'm going out with a bang. I'm having a baby.
I love that.
End of November. Then we'll go into a Christmas period. Then we start 2025.
Oh my God.
What even happened to 24?
Peace out, 2024, you
Yeah.
fucker.
Boom.
But
I feel like
so
everyone's
many,
like
everyone said, so many lessons this
Yeah.
year.
So
Like
many
Jen and I were
lessons.
lying in bed last night. As I said, we kept trying to go to sleep, and the girls were like, why was it 2 a.m.? You see each other all the time, but we don't get to just catch up as best mates.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much
We
going on.
work.
So we laid in bed, and every time we tried to go to sleep, I'd be like,
oh,
one
but
of us would
wait.
be like, oh, did you? And then we just keep talking.
Also,
But at one point I remember just lying there and I was like, so many lessons. And Jen's like, so many lessons. I'm like, I had enough of the lessons. Jen's like, no more lessons. And then this morning, Megan and Carolyn, who were in the room across us, they were like, we just could not stop laughing at you and Jen just fucking cackling up because this is how we were it was just we were two 16-year-old versions of ourselves lying in bed. And I was like,
how often do you really get to have slumber parties with your friends anymore?
I know.
In your 30s.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
know.
a thing.
It was so good because it was just so vulnerable. And I was like, I'm just tired of the lessons. Jen's like, so tired. But again, having your people that see you as well, as Jen was saying that, Jen's like, I'm very lucky to have, a best friend who's a business owner that's very smart. You hear those words and you can do things, but I need, unfortunately, with that way I am, I don't think I'm enough at times. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm giving enough. Even in this group, I never thought I was giving enough.
Up about,
We just open it up about
Yeah.
am I,
We do
I don't
need
know
praise.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm giving enough and am I doing enough and is my knowledge enough and
that's the beauty of being in a group like this.
where everyone's like, you're being an idiot. We've gotten so
Yeah.
much and gained so much. So even having Rich and Jen see that, Jen was laying in bed last night and she was like, solo, because it's online, the program is so good, Sam. It's so good. And I was like, I can't watch it. It's myself. And these guys are like, watch it. It's so good. But even
It's so
Jen's
good.
like, watch Richard's videos. He did so good. And
I
so
am so proud of Richard's videos. They are incredible.
He's sitting
You
there
have
right
to
now.
Watch them. He's like, whatever, man.
so awkward.
No, they're
But
so
I know
good,
he needs
guys.
the praise.
They're so
He reckons
good.
he doesn't need the praise, but he totally needs
We
it.
all need the praise.
We all need the
a good
praise.
praise from time to time.
Yeah.
So, you just keep doing this and hope that you're doing enough. So you're surrounding yourself with women that can see you when you can't see yourself
Yeah.
is the most important thing that you can possibly do is give you, and, if you don't have it, get into groups like this.
Yeah.
Because if you asked
And be
probably
brave
any of
and
you,
take the step.
If you
Yeah.
asked any of you women, all four of you would say that was the best money I've spent
Yeah.
because of the fact that
Absolutely.
I had my people for 12 months and I still have my people and the support had been, and we would
I mean, it has to keep going, right?
yeah.
The connection doesn't end.
Never.
For sure.
Yeah.
The mastermind. Richard goes, where do we go from here? I'm like, I don't know. We'll just probably just never stop. Like this is the, because we're the 6 best friends that
anyone's ever had.
So anyway, I
But
just want to
also,
say,
you're going to wrap this up now,
wrapping
aren't you?
this up now,
Because
yeah.
we need to get our Josie on a plane.
I know. So I
out.
was just doing that. So I just wanted to say thank you, my girl,
Thank you
for
What
coming
are
on the
you?
pod, coming on the mastermind,
for
coming on
having
the
me again.
things. Like I feel very lucky that I get to
People
do.
might have thought I was lost in a forest somewhere after the last pod.
Where is Justine? She's so lost.
She found her way out.
She found her way out, and we're so excited for this next baby and this next chapter, and for Eve to have finally come. And I love, love, love doing life with you as your friend, but also as your mentor.
Thank you.
We
I
love you.
Oh, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for
Thanks,
joining
Jen.
us, darling. Love you.
Love you.